Hey everyone, my name's Olivia, and I did my final project on Angelica Kauffman. Now, this is recorded on my phone, so it may be moved around a lot. Okay, so Angelica Kauffman was born on October 30th in Chur, Switzerland in 1741. Her mother was a musician, her father was an artist, and she died on November 5th, 1807 in Rome, Italy. So as a child, she was taught by her father art and music by her mother. And after the death of her mother, she traveled with her father through Switzerland, Australia, and Italy as her father's assistant. This is really important because it gives her the chance to see and admire Renaissance paintings and to meet the future leaders of neoclassicalism. Okay, so Angelica went back to Italy again in 1758, but this time she was there to train herself as an artist. She also studied all of the masterworks and painted copies for British travelers. This was really important because she was able to establish important links with English clients. She also entered a second marriage with painter Antonio Zucchi. Although this is not a traditional marriage, this was a marriage that was bound by contract. Her style. So she did a lot of work that belonged to a neoclassicalism movement. And neoclassicalism is the imitation of classical and Greek and Roman art. It was also a reaction against the expression of the Baroque and Romantic art. So her mediums were drawings, paintings, and etching. She also did a lot of portraits, so this is where it comes handy. Some characteristics that can be found in her painting are the softness, the gracefulness, and sometimes even a gently a melancholy mood. So she established herself as a history painter. However, she was denied the access to study male nudes, which really was the key point to a history painter's success. But she has proven wrong because she's so successful in the end. So here is a painting called Cornelia, presenting her children as her treasure. It was done in 1785. So at the age of 21, she was elected a member of the Bulgaria Art Academy. She befriended Jason Reynolds and became one of the two women who founded the Royal Academy around 1868. And her work was regularly exhibited at the London Royal Art Academy or London Royal Academy. So here's a picture of that. So she even worked for aristocrats and royal patrons such as Queen Mother, who, for most of you who doesn't know, is the mother of Queen Elizabeth II. She was also commissioned to paint the ceilings of the summer solstice house. And what's the best part is when she passed away, her funeral had the honor and the same privilege as the funeral of Ralph, who was fabulous during the Renaissance. So why is she important? Well, she was the first to advocate for sensibility and sentimental female idea of a beautiful soul. She helped to shape ideas of womanhood during the Enlightenment through her paintings of female figures from history and literature. She also opened her very own studio beside the Spanish Step, which this place became a major meeting place for intellectual elite of the 18th century. And over here is a painting called The Artist and the Character of Design Listening to Inspiration of Poetry. It's really interesting, actually. So there's again Cornelia presenting her children as her treasures. This is one of her most famous work. And in this painting, Cornelia, the one who's in white, presented her children as her treasures instead of gems, which her friend's doing right there. I know it's hard to see, but there she's holding like a jewelry, like a necklace almost. Well, and Cornelia just points it to her kids. And this like painting reinforced the strength and nobility of the mother. It also turned the head of many artists on the importance of family union that was like taught by, like it was influenced by Enlightenment teachings of Jean Jacques. So some more notable work. This is Angelica's self-portrait that was done in 1787. It was inspired by like the Roman goddess of poetry, medicine, wisdom, commerce, art, crafts, and music, and her name was Minerva. So another important work is her self-portrait of hesitating between art of music and painting, the art of music and painting, which is done in 1791. This painting basically is her goodbye to music. As a child, she had talent for both music and art, and as a teen, she had to toy with the idea of pursued the idea of like possibly becoming a singer as a career. And again, her mother was like the musician of the family and her father was the artist. So that's why she has the decisions to make. So some more work. Lady Elizabeth Foster, which I believe is a portrait. Of course, is a portrait. And it's done in 1785. Penelope at her loom, which is actually called a literature painting because Penelope, if you can remember, refers back to the Odyssey where Odysseus was gone away for like 10 years. And in order to keep herself and maybe Odysseus in charge, she said to her suitors that like when I finish looming this fabric, I would choose a suitor. So that's basically what it's describing there. And then over here is Johann Jackie Wittgenstein, which is done in 1764, is another portrait. Now, he was like a history, like an artist historian almost. He's German. And it's another portrait that's done by Angelica. So some quick facts. Okay, so here's another portrait of her. Some facts. So she mastered 4 languages at a really young age. German, Italian, French, and English. Which makes sense since she went to like Italy, Australia, and France, and almost anywhere you can think of in like Europe. It's really interesting. Her first marriage was to an impostor named like Count Frederick de Horn. So with the help of Sir Joshua Reynolds, which is the same person who founded the Royal Academy, she was able to leave him. Although they truly never did get a divorce, because back then, although it wasn't uncommon, it was like not allowed, or it's like unspoken rule that you shouldn't do it. But anyhow, he ended up dying within the next couple of years, so leaving her free to marry Antonio Ducci, which she did. And she was also introduced by like etching, or like the printing by Jonathan Frederick Riesenstein, who was like really good friends of her. So another thing was that she was not only introduced to like this printing process, but she also created like over 40 pieces of work with it, and it has been like reproduced like since the beginning. And she was also like known as like one of the most successful artists of the 18th century. Okay, now these are just credits. And thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoy learning about Angelica Kauffman. I certainly did, and I cannot wait to hear your feedbacks. Thanks for listening and watching. Bye.